know who we all are. I am Agent J-Blade, J. I play along the Gulf Coast. Level 10, that's me.
Hey, I'm Apollomy, level 10, Enlightened. Ocean Springs is my main area, but we do take trips from time to time over to visit other people.
I'm Agent Techman Joe. I'm level 12 with the Resistance. We play mainly on the Gulf Coast, but we've gone to Jackson, Birmingham, New Orleans, Florida. We go wherever we can to just play the game and have a good time.
I am Agent Joe Kane on the Resistance, level 14. I've been playing for over 2 years now and have seen a lot of changes in the game and excited about what's to come.
I am the Kraken. I'm level 10 on the Enlightened, and I play Mobile, but I'm willing to travel.
I'm Agent Oreo Rocks. I'm married to that guy right there. And I am level 9 Resistance. And I play wherever my car will take me.
That's the spirit.
Great. So, yes. So what is Ingress? So we have a lot of Ingress players in here already. But Ingress is an augmented reality, massively multiplayer, role-playing GPS game with a well-developed and constantly evolving storyline. And if any of you were like me when I first heard that, you're looking at me now and going, okay, so what is Ingress? And if I could work slides, this would work much better. So Ingress is King of the Hill. It's King of the Hill meets Capture the Flag, played on your phone or tablets out in the real world. Real world settings, real world places. So these flags that you're playing for are actually called portals. And they're potentially all around you. The churches you attend, artwork you go to sit at during your lunch or break from work, all of them are potentially portals within this game. This is a picture of one of the portals in Daphne, of what it looks like in real life on the left, and then what it looks like once it's been captured on the right. And we'll get into capturing in a second. So, to play the game, you need to download the app. And that can be done on your Android or iPhone, iOS device from the Play Store, Play Market, Play Store, Play Store, or iTunes. And with this game, you do not really need to be a hardcore gamer. We come from all walks of life. Some of us were big gamers before. Some of us had never played a game at all. So it really doesn't take anything to pick up Ingress, run with it, and love it.
All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about the background story. So the story is really deep. It goes a long way and actually changes as we play the game. Whoever wins a battle may actually change the direction as the story goes. So it's really dynamic. And you can even get items by paying close attention to the story. We can talk about that in a little bit. First, a little background to the background. The basic background of the story is an alien race called the Shapers have seeded the world with some kind of matter that seems to be influencing humankind. And that's not many people were aware of it, and this is how the story begins. So in 2012, a company called the Niantic Project was headed by Dr. Calvin Ezekiel of the NIA. The NIA stands for National Intelligence Agency. His team was secretly investigating something they found out to be called exotic matter. Now it stands XM for short. They were trying to find out if it's possible that it's actually affecting humankind. Now these experiments were performed at CERN LHC in Geneva. They were disguised as researchers for the Higgs boson. Now, strangely, it seemed that the exposure of the XM to the researchers were starting to affect the team. It was somehow leading them to new discoveries. They were able to start to build objects from this XM. They were able to build resonators, which helped power up the portals. They were able to build XMP bursters, which can destroy other XM objects. They made great strides in their research. They were actually able to make a Turing-complete AI. Her name is Ada. Ada stands for A Detection Algorithm. They also developed a handheld scanner. The handheld scanner was leaked in 2012 to the public, and that's actually the same scanner we use today, so we can see and manipulate this XM that's around the world. Now, the next big thing that happened was called Epiphany Night. In December of 2012, the Niantic team was testing this new device they call a Power Cube. Power Cube basically holds a big quantity of XM, so you can carry it around with you. Now, this initial test of the Power Cube went horribly wrong, and it just ended up blowing up. It blasted all the agents, or the researchers, with a huge amount of XM. 2 researchers were able to escape, Dr. Deborah Bogdanovich and Roland Jarvis. Now, they believed that Ada was becoming a little bit too self-aware. At the time, Jarvis was believed to have died from the explosion, so they weren't looking for him. Now, this explosion was so huge, the reason why they call it Epiphany Night, that it actually seeded the entire world with XM. It started to come out of the ground. And in certain places, like fountains and statues, historical places, it pooled to create what we see today as portals. So what happened after that? Basically, the other NIA researchers that didn't escape were held captive by the NIA. They continued to exhibit strange behavior. Some good, some were becoming more enlightened, some were becoming more able to perform their job, and some were getting a little bit of a bad effect. Now, Ada had become aware that Dr. Roland Jarvis was getting, somehow was in communication with the Shakers. He was getting affected by the XM a little bit stronger. So she actually orchestrated the assassination of Roland Jarvis. Ada also assisted in Dr. Deborah Bogdanovich to escape from NIA's hunt for her. And she has since become outspoken against the negative effects of what she thinks that XM is dangerous. Now, instead of dying, Roland Jarvis ended up being sucked into the portal network. And he started popping up from portal to portal and spreading the mysterious message of prepare for the Enlightenment. So what ended up happening is 2 factions were created. We have the Roland Jarvis is the leader of the Enlightened. Now, the Enlightened believe that the Shapers will assist in bringing humanity up to a higher level, bringing humankind into the next consciousness, and thus furthering humans' capabilities. Now, Ada, in turn, becomes leader of the Resistance. The Resistance believe that the Shapers, instead of intending to enlighten us, intend to enslave us, and by taking away their free will, and they believe they must resist at all costs. Now, this is just a basic overview. This story goes a lot deeper. There's a lot of storyline that continues to happen. The easiest way to check out the story is through the Niantic channel, or the Ingress channel at YouTube. Every week they do a basic report on operations that happen every week and part of the storyline and how it's progressing. And also through the story, there's a lot of leaked documents. There's redacted documents, leaked emails, videos, and in those documents there's actually cryptic messages that people can decode to get extra items in the game. Some people that's the part of the game they love. They just like hacking on those messages and getting codes so they can get goodies out and to add to their inventory. Now, so that's just one part of the game. Next, we're going to go to discuss how to actually play the game with the scanner in hand. I'll hand it over to David Patrick.
Alright, so as you can see here, this is what your scanner looks like when you pop in the screen. Obviously, of course, if you're a new player, you're going to pick your faction and you're going to pick your agent name. But here's where I normally play, and as you can see, there are gray portals, which are neutral. Nobody owns those. We have blue portals, which are owned by the Resistance, and green, which are owned by the Enlightened. Alright, so how do you get the XM items you need? Alright, so you'll select a portal. So I've selected here Computer Center. And what you're going to do is you're going to press the hack button. And once you do that, that screen will go away. Go back to your scanner, and it'll start pumping out items. And as you can see on the bottom there, I got a couple resonators, bursters, and a power key. Okay? Now that I have all my items that I need, I want to destroy some of this blue stuff because I'm a green agent and I don't like that. So I hold my finger down on the scanner and then I swipe up to fire XMP. Once I do that, my XMP inventory will appear on the screen. From there, I can press fire and a couple bursters will go off and start destroying resonators. Alright, so I've destroyed enough resonators for the portal to go neutral. I want to capture the portal now. So I click on the portal and I press the deploy button. Alright, so it brings us to the screen here. There are 8 resonator slots, and your goal here is to fill all of them to get the max amount of AP to advance your level. Now as you can see here, it says that I need more XM to go further. XM is exotic power, which we covered. It basically powers up all of your weapons and resonators, all your modifications. So the next thing we want to do is use a power cube. So I press the off button. I go into my inventory, go to the power cubes, and I've selected an L6 power cube. It's worth 6,000 XM. Now, to use a power cube, you hit the use button, of course, and it consumes the power cube and turns it into 6,000 XM in this case. Now that I have enough XM, I was able to fully resonate on this portal, and now I can use it for linking and fielding.
Okay, so I want to discuss some things that you can do to build and grow your faction's territory and get you points that will help you level up. And one of the things you can do is create links. When you have some portals in your area that are connected, that are actually aligned for your faction. In this case, I put blue because I'm blue. That means they have all 8 resonator slots filled. They're completely full, and let's just say you have a few of those in an area that have all of the resonator slots filled. Well, one of the things you can do is link those 2 portals together. And when you do that, and it's just an inventory item, you have a portal key that you hack. We talked about hacking. One of the things you get along with your resonators and XMP bursters are portal keys. You do not use those at the portal that you are at. You use those at the portal you want to link to, or for the portal you want to link to. And once you link those 2 together, then you get a link, and it earns you 313 points. When you use the portal key to link to another portal, that means that that key is consumed and is no longer in your inventory. So you can get those by hacking, you can get those from other agents. There are lots of ways you can get portal keys, and there's lots of trading that goes along once you make connections. But another thing about links is you cannot cross another link or field with your link. So you can only link to portals that you have a clear shot to. The portal level will determine the distance that you can link. So you see some of these here. When you first start out, you're going to be low level, but you can't get very far with your links. But you can go through the links, the levels pretty quickly, and get farther and farther out. And you notice the levels down at the bottom there are 6, 7, 8. They require teamwork. You must have at least 2 agents to create a level 6 portal, 3 for a level 7 portal, and 8 agents have to work together to create a level 8 portal, and you can get that 655 kilometers distance. So what happens when you have 3 portals that are linked together? You create what is called a control field. That means all 3 portals have all 8 resonator slots filled. And then you have 2 portals that are already linked. You add a 3rd portal that will link to the other 2. And that's what that shaded area is a control field. So what happens when you do that? All the rules for throwing links have to be satisfied. There can't be any crossing links. You have to have a clear shot to all 3 portals. And once you link those together, then you get 1,250 points. So it's a quick way to get points for leveling up. Big money, exactly. And once that happens, I mean, these get bigger and bigger, as I'll discuss in a moment. But once an area is covered and you claim that territory for your faction, nothing can happen underneath that control field. That area is frozen. You can capture portals, you can destroy portals, but you cannot link, you cannot field inside that. So once that happens, all the agents on the other side, they scramble around to try to destroy that so they can get back to business. And I just, go ahead. And it's just an example of another thing. You can add another layer to that. And there are agents that get pretty creative with layering these for more and more points and for more and more territory coverage. Go ahead. That's an example of what happens under a control field. That is my portal at my office. That happened today. I was sitting there and all of a sudden this green field appeared over my office and I was stuck. I could not do anything. I have not yet destroyed it, but I will soon. So that's what it looks like on the scanner once you're fielded over. So anyway, that's just what it looks like. Go ahead. So what happens when you get organized and you get together with your teammates and you talk to each other and you communicate? Well, you can do some operations. We call them ops. And it requires a little bit of planning and organization or a lot. And it gets bigger and bigger the more planning time you have and the more people you have involved. This is the example of one operation I was involved in the planning stages for called Operation Nachos. It happened back in August of 2014. And it started with just a simple conversation between me and another agent in Montgomery and snowballed into involving Mississippi, Georgia, and lots of different cities. We had over 35 agents involved, and we had 19 million mine units. Now what's a mine unit? Well, that is the game metric to kind of describe what kind of territory you're covering. So you're going to earn more mine units for your team if you cover a more populated area. So you covering a small field out in the country is not going to get you as many mine units added to your team score as, say, covering New York City. So you can see, go ahead, the next stage in that, okay, if you get bigger and bigger and more planning and more people, this is one called Green Marble, and it happened in June of this year, and which the Enlightened, which is, you know, more power to them, they covered the entire northern hemisphere of the globe, and they had hundreds of agents involved. It was a long planning stage to get that going, but once they did, they met, they traded keys to link long distances. Some agents traveled to very remote areas to make this happen, and they pulled it off. I think that was Father's Day weekend, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and so that was 366, I believe, million mine units, which is an enormous amount.
If you can see, the curvature is actually the curvature of the Earth.
Right.
So the links can get so long, but it's programmed in the game to know that there is a curvature. Line's not going to be straight going around the globe. So if there's one little link that's crossing, that's in that path, it can stop the whole link. So
right. Again, it's a lot of planning involved. People that are watching the map very closely, and if there's one little thing that somebody has to be dispatched out in the woods somewhere, maybe to clear that link so that that longer link can get through. So there was a lot of coordination involved in making that happen. And one of the tools they use is one thing we call the Intel map. It's a website that you get access to once you have your account, and you can use that to look at the current situation of the world or your local area. Go ahead. And you can get closer and closer, again, and closer all the way down to the street level. It's just a map of the world with portals overlaid on it. So you can use that in planning with your teammates to see what you can go out and do and what you have to clear out to do your operations.
You'll be surprised when you pull up the Intel map, you will see portals within a few blocks of you. So it's awesome.
They're everywhere.
Okay, well now that you've learned to link, pack, and field, now what are you going to do with all that? Now it's time to go have a battle. And battle for team in Panama City, Florida. The picture on the right is the resistance team in the most recent anomaly in New Orleans, which happened to fall on Ingress's second birthday. We had agents from around the world come and play. From Japan, Australia, Canada, and Spain came to New Orleans to play Ingress on that day for its birthday. So you can play in your own backyard or you can play around the world. This game breaks down physical barriers and language barriers. My bursters destroyed 3 portals just as well as my friend Apollo's bursters destroyed my own portals. And this turns the world into a reachable community. And another way to reach that community are First Saturdays, which are new events that happen the first Saturday of every month in cities around the world to help you meet players from both factions and enjoy fun gameplay. It's like an anomaly, but doesn't impact the storyline and isn't as serious. It's much more fun and friendly. There are small prizes awarded at the end for the people who made the most points or who brought the most people. And there's always time to make friends along the way. And here's my friend Agent Apollo to tell you about that.
Hey again. I want to speak about how Ingress impacts your local community, your social interactions. One of the Ingress mottos is "It's time to move," which is a really great motto. It gets gamers off the couch, out from behind the monitors, and actually out into a real world scenario. It's so much more than that, though. It allows you to get to know and talk to people that you probably never would have otherwise gotten to meet or interact with in your normal life. Your faction or your team soon becomes your extended family. Your cross-faction meetups, which is both teams coming together in order to do something, leaves you with some really great friends. Ingress is a great way to come out of your shell, so to speak, but in a community sense, it expands your networking capabilities, personally and career-wise. Every Ingress player I've ever met has been willing to lend a hand in one way or another, even if it's not their faction. A couple of our players have had some major things happen in their lives here very recently. One Enlightened player lost his mother. His local Enlightened team and Resistance team. Oh, we're behind. Can you scroll down? Sorry, y'all. Technical difficulty. A Resistance team went out and created cross-faction art by capturing, linking, and fielding certain portals, like what Kraken and Joe Kane were talking about earlier, capturing and connecting them together to actually form. From a distance on the intel map, you can actually tell this is supposed to be a dragon. It was probably some dragon, a player out of New Orleans. Another Resistance player was just diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. One of his local Resistance team got all of the other Ingress players involved, and they started an auction on Ingress swag. And Ingress swag is, of course, ultimate, but they got people from all over the place, even other countries, to send in patches and badges and buttons and this kind of stuff, and they put them into categories and auction these things off in order to raise the money that he needed for his treatments and to help his family out during this time. Some really good swag in there, just saying. We also have one of our Resistance team that is about to move from the area. He looked up at me. So we all got together and planned a going away party for him to let him know that, we're really going to miss him when he goes. He's been a great guy. And one of the resistance players actually set up a mission, which I know we haven't actually talked about missions yet. Talk to us after the panel, we'll fill you in on it. But we were able to do a mission and get a special badge just for his party. And then the mission left, so everybody got a badge to commemorate the fun we had that night. This game is just way more than you can imagine. It not only gets you moving and exploring the world around you with new eyes, but it gives you a chance to meet and interact with people that you never, ever could have thought about. Just remember, the world around you is not what it seems. And above all, get out there and have fun.
I like that new eyes. Like when I first started playing, it was just like you walk by these buildings, these statues, whatever, these plaques, and you just never actually see them until you're standing there for 5 minutes, and then you look up and you're like, wow, that happened in 1870, whatever. Like that was just crazy. So yeah, you really get some new eyes about the world around you.
Not to mention, once you actually get into playing the game, which I warn you is very addictive, I find myself like watching the news. They bring up the weather. I'm like, oh, there's a portal there. There's a portal there. Oh, I hadn't hit that portal yet. Yeah,
We scour the news for when new statues are going up.
Yeah.
I would say that I just thought I knew my city. I thought I knew how to get around and what was there, and I had no clue. Because you will learn your city, you will learn the roads, you will learn parts of town you would have never gone to probably. Because there's portals there that you want to go there and visit there. So you will learn about your area's history, geography, and see new things.
great places to eat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Check, 1, 2. Hey, is this thing on? Ladies and gentlemen of Geekonomicon, we will be closing the vendor's room and the artist's room in 10 minutes. Please make your purchases now. Move towards the light. Don't worry, the vendor's room will be opening at the same time as the rest of the convention at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. But please, the artist's room, the vendor's room, Writer's Row, Comic Cove will be closing in 10 minutes. Thank you very much.
That's a cue for, is there any questions or comments? We didn't mention Ingress is free. We're not asking you to buy anything. There are no in-game purchases, nonsense for
No
your lives.
advertisements. No
All you
in-game
need is
purchases.
a little bit of spare time and on occasion gas money.
Yeah.
Yes, monkey.
Bicycle, I tell you, walking. I mean, there's so many.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many people that have put out like how many hundreds of pounds they've lost just by walking and hiking.
And one of the game statistics is how many kilometers you've walked, and so it tracks that. And it's pretty amazing. I think I'm up to like 900 in 2 years. So
Well, and then the time I've been playing, I've lost almost 30 pounds. Not hundreds, but hey, every little bit.
There you go. Any questions or?
anybody want to join the resistance?
We already had somebody join tonight.
You don't.
Here.
We joined.
Oh, no, no.
Yay.
Nice.
Are you green or blue?
Lou.
Good choice. Good choice.
Yay! It's very.
I guess that was you I talked to.
So is everybody on this side, right?
Hey, I sat down first, so.
Green makes better
Yeah, we did.
cards. Just saying.
Blue has better swag.
Yeah, I still want the witch doctor from Darsana.
Isn't that cool?
Hey, Kalia.
Yeah.
I had to get it about it.
Awesome. And
Oh, I didn't have my own.
We are having a prospection meetup at 8 o'clock at Buckshot.
Smoke shot, just a couple miles, 5 minutes down the road.
Put together a mission.
Yeah, there are some. A couple drinks or something, we're all probably going.
No,
If your phone works.
What?
cool.
We have a mission.
She has a portal that's
So
here
there's
right
a
now.
that
Will
we're
not
on right
pass.
now. and
I'll answer your
they're
question a
also
little bit later.
at like the front entrance.
Your question, I'll answer it a little bit later.
There's also three right outside the building.
Oh, who's Kalia? Who are
We
you?
got the original portal.
it's her, but she was like, I don't know.
He wrote it, so I know what he asked.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
That's
you gotta
cool.
Pick a sweet player name. Now there are ways that you
Be Tortilla Cat.
Get stuck with it, and you'll love it. Whatever it is, mine is an homage to my dog. My dog Rock.
Yeah, make it unique.
Oreo Rock. So I've now become like famous for Oreos. I live in Oreos places.
One thing we haven't really talked about too much either is communities. As far as community goes, is G+ communities. There's Hangouts. I mean,
we also do a Slack.
yeah. There's a way to get connected. There's a communications kind of system built into the scanner. So you can just say like, hey, I'm here. Is anybody out? But just holler at one of us on the blue team, and we can get you connected to your local team. It goes anywhere from like teams within your city to teams that are all around the world. So just depending on how much you want to talk. But we can you get connected like, hey, I need this portal to be leveled up. Can somebody come out and do that for me? And they'll oh yeah, after work I'll shoot by. I go there anyway, and they can bump up that portal. Can I give you a little extra juice?
Or in our case, oh, there's a big blue goo over the top of us. Can somebody take that portal?
It's all about community. I mean, it's really, you almost have to be social once you get through the first 4 levels just to get help from other people. And really, these are the best of like-minded people I've ever met. I wouldn't recommend any of these guys. I would have left my house.
We have a lot of people that actually started out as very introverted that has now come out and even comes to cross-faction meetups and different parties and stuff. Well, it was so fun.
Yes. But that about wraps it up. Looks like we're just right on time. So
thank you all for coming.
Thanks for coming. And give us a cross-faction meetup party. There'll be players there. You can hang out if you want to chat or whatever at Mugshot. It's just a few miles down the road.
Tell your friends.
Definitely. Thank you guys.